Hey friend, welcome to Grounded, the vestibular podcast. I'm Dr. Madison Oak, aka the Vertigo Doctor. I am the vestibular physical therapist who is here to help you with all things dizziness, imbalance, and vertigo. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of vestibular disorders. Come with me as we dive headfirst into a journey to discover the mysteries of the brain, the inner ear, and the balance mechanisms that keep us grounded. Whether you've been managing dizziness for one day or 25 years, we're going to get real about what it takes to manage dizziness, handle the anxiety cycle, and thrive, not just survive, with your vestibular disorder. First, I want to remind you that this is never medical advice. Remember, this podcast is for informational purposes only and may not be the best fit for you and your personal situation. It shall not be construed as medical advice. The information and education provided here is not intended or implied to supplement or replace professional medical treatment, advice, and or diagnosis. Always check with your own physician, medical professionals, and healthcare team before trying or implementing any information found here. Meet me in your coziest chair while we navigate the highs and lows, the twists and turns of the vestibular universe. Welcome to Grounded. Let's dive in. Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever time you're listening to this. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're sitting at home, maybe you're listening to a podcast cooking dinner. I don't know. Welcome back to Grounded. Let's get into today's win of the week. Okay, this week's win is from Carrie. Carrie says, I navigated sick kids and I was able to get enough rest despite disrupted sleep. My daughter's sickness started at 2 a.m. and continued every 20 minutes one night. I drove multiple times, once in a lot of rain, and felt okay. I took my kids to the pool without my emotional support husband. I haven't done that all summer because I was scared I would get vertigo while there. It went fine. I had no anxiety either. Celebrated my 41st birthday at a loud restaurant. I had some minor dizziness throughout the week, but it was all manageable. I was also able to walk over 14,000 steps one day and felt great and slept even better that night. I am obsessed with this win because there are so many amazing things she did. She celebrated her birthday. She was able to care for her sick children. She was able to figure out how to rest despite not really getting a ton of sleep because her daughter was up all night. And none of it made her have a severely dizzy attack. And that is what this is all about. None of this, no matter who tells you, what they tell you, this is not about how do I never, ever, 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 ever have this again. This is about how can I figure out how to make it so I can manage these symptoms so I don't get dizzy or symptoms on a regular basis. And the answer to that is managing your disorder holistically and comprehensively. This means, sure, maybe there are medications involved, maybe there are acute or preventative meds. Maybe you are managing your diet, your anxiety, your mindset, your movement, your hydration, your sleep, all of these things together and more, of course, all of which we preach and practice in vestibular group fit are going to help you get there. And that is what I'm absolutely obsessed with about this win. Is she's like, yeah, I navigated all the things. I was able to drive again. I took my kids to the pool, which I haven't done all summer without my husband. And I was able to walk a ton in one of the days. All of these things are literally phenomenal. And I am so, so, so excited for you. Congratulations, Carrie. Let's get into the episode. So today we're talking about a really, really, really quick thing about how to get rid of the maybe not so great products in your home. So personally, in my home, I use all non-toxic products that are either certified by the EWG, which is definitely controversial. I will admit to that fully. I like them just because I feel like it gives me a good baseline. They're not my end all be all of things. You can also try the Dirty 30 app. You can also try, I think it's called Yucca, YUKA app. But the EWG tends to be easiest for me personally. Basically, what we're trying to do is get rid of the cleaning supplies that haven't been tested by the government, which if you go to the cleaning supply aisle at the grocery store, most of the time they're not tested. Most of the time they are problematic. And there have been, I think, over 90,000, don't quote me on this exact number, chemicals invented since the 50s that have not been tested, but just were put on grocery store shelves and they're like, oh, we'll test them later. And some of them, of course, get removed if and when they decide that they're problematic. But then we've been using them for years and years and years without knowing that they're problematic, and therefore just using them. And yes, it is problematic. So I do not know enough about pesticides, things like that. But I will say that generally, like toxic lawn care, plant care, Roundup, glyphosate, things like that are problematic, and you should try to avoid to spray them in your backyard, especially Roundup. It's not good for you. There have been studies proving that they are related to cancer and things like that. So not good to spray your backyard with that if you can avoid it. There are alternatives, but of course I am not a gardening expert. So maybe I'll get Dr. Jenna on here. She is like an amazing gardener. So is our yoga and Pilates teacher, Candy, also an amazing gardener. But what I do want to talk to you about a little bit is about cleaning products, a little bit about laundry, a little bit about fragrances, and then some personal care products like deodorant and things like that. And then, of course, we can dive into a few other things. But first thing I'll talk to you about is cleaning products. So the two cleaning products that I personally trust are Force of Nature, which is a hypochlorous acid, and Branch Basics, which is what I personally use. Branch Basics is my very favorite company. They have a laundry detergent. They have a cleaning supply for like all purpose. They have a glass cleaner. They have a bathroom cleaner. I am not sponsored by these people. This is just what I use. I love them. They do a really good job of making sure that their products work and also are non-toxic. Like if you put it on your skin, like I know the owners, I don't know the owners, but I've heard them speak on podcasts. They literally put this like on their babies' butts when changing diapers. Like I don't have kids. I don't know about that, but that's what they say they do. So when we're thinking about the laundry room, we want to remove all toxic laundry products, which generally include anything with fragrance and most laundry detergents that you can find on shelves. Personally, I use Earth Breeze laundry detergent, and also sometimes I will use Defunkify if something is extra smelly, like gym clothes, ski clothes, things like that. And also things like boosters from like Febreze or Tide or whatever, the softeners that go in, anything that has a fragrance. This is really a lesson in reading labels. Anything that has a fragrance whatsoever is considered problematic because it is generally an endocrine disruptor. And your endocrine system is basically like the system of hormones in your body, your estrogen, progesterone, all of those things, and it can disrupt that. So if you have difficulty around your period, if you have difficulty around ovulation, any hormonal fluctuations, and you use anything with a fragrance in it, from deodorant, from Dove or whatever, to different kinds of laundry detergent or I don't know, anything like that, it probably is problematic. So think about that when you are choosing what you are going to use in your laundry room. You can, of course, clean your laundry machine, your washing machine. And the same thing goes for your dishwasher. So the Cascades of the world and other laundry or dishwasher detergents like that, I go with 7th generation. It is non-toxic. I get the free and clear version, the fragrance free. Which is also different than the unscented. I know this is kind of like a brain drain of these things. I will do a longer, more organized episode. If you guys want me to, let me know. But basically, the exact same thing goes for any product in your house. So take the product, look at it. If it says fragrance, and there are many other toxic problems in the ingredients list of those things for sure, that I am by no means a full expert in, but I can say a good way to start is by looking at your laundry room and your dishes situation and just removing it all. Most of the time, the things that you replace these things with, replace it when it's out. Replace it when you run out. Like next time you run out of your dishwasher detergent, just replace it with 7th generation or something like that. I will say the interesting thing about this is that you often don't notice the problem until you get rid of it. So I've always been like a free and clear dishwasher detergent human. Um, that being said, I didn't notice like the smell of the Cascade until my friend was like, I mean, I've always been free and clear for laundry detergent my whole life, but I did use Cascade up until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like, this is a journey, you guys. I am on this journey with you. My friend was like, "Oh my God, I cannot stand the smell." And I was like, "What smell?" And she's like, "Of dishwasher detergent generally." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Just get rid of it, I swear." And so I did. I was like, okay, like she doesn't want to eat off the plates at my house. And this is like my best friend in Jackson. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm grateful she said something, because then Dr. Emily Kostalnik and I were talking about the same thing. And she was like, yeah, it's definitely a problem. I got rid of it. And now when a cup or a plate smells like it, I'm like, oh my God, it's horrible. And to be completely and totally honest with you guys, nothing has changed my life hormonally like this. Like, I have had really, I mean, skip forward 35 seconds if you don't want to hear about this. I've always had horrible, heavy, painful periods, like my literal entire life, for a lot of different reasons. Stress is related, cortisol is related, but nothing has changed my life like getting rid of every single fragrance in my entire house, from my deodorant um, to my dishwasher detergent. So the next thing with fragrance is your Febreze, Glade plugins, the like melty things, scented candles, scented trash bags, scented tampons, toilet paper, anything like that is likely problematic. You're going to want to get rid of this for at least probably 6 weeks. I'd say up to even 6 months if you're highly sensitive and have a difficulty detoxing things. Because this is something that you're going to need to kind of get used to and kind of do different things with. So you're going to want to remove it all. And then I would go on the EWG Skin Deep database. You can Google that and just type in the product. And when you type in the product, it should be able to tell you on a scale of verified to 10 being the worst, what these things are. And that's going to be for personal care products. I'm trying to type in one right now. Like Primally Pure deodorant is awesome. Agent Nature is awesome. But they are going to be a low hazard at 1. Whereas if you maybe did, let me type in another one. Some deodorants. Let's see here. Let's say, okay, the Dove dry, I don't want to like call something out, but I just typed in deodorant. So invisible dry anti-white marks antiperspirant deodorant is a 6 out of 10. So that has a moderate hazard with limited availability of research. So you could also be like, yeah, maybe this is not a problem for me at a 6. Like, that's not something I'm going to go with. But for most people, you want to kind of aim for a 1 or a 2. And even if you're like, I don't see a problem with this, like, I don't know, what I would do is just take them out and say, for the next 6 to 10 weeks, I'm going to um I'm going to get rid of this and then see how it goes. Because maybe it's not a problem, but maybe it actually is a problem, but you're not able to see, hey, yeah, this is a problem because of XYZ. Things that, like, I just searched deodorant from worst to best, and like the ones that are worst are from a bunch of different companies that you see at the store. And so I highly recommend looking into this, because anything above a 2 is likely going to be problematic for you. You can do that in your body wash, your lotion, your deodorant, your shampoo, your conditioner, all of the things, makeup, sunscreen. Let's see. I don't know, literally it could be anything, truly anything. I would just type in shampoo, like either the type you're using or just shampoo in general, because you guys would be shocked by this. I'm not trying to, I know I called out Dove earlier. It's on me. There are actually some great Dove products on here that are like a 1 or a 2. So yeah, I really recommend this highly. Like, look, I don't use any of these products. I haven't used them since like high school. So I am like looking at this being like, oh my God. And some of these are really popular. Like I have a lot of friends who use these. So I can like see them in the bathroom. So again, I highly recommend looking into that. Next thing, plastics, remove them all. Remove all your plastics. Get rid of your Tupperware, your plastic cups, plastic water bottles, things like that. I think we have 2 and we only use them for biking. Get rid of your plastic spatula, your plastic tongs, anything that could possibly get hot in plastic Starbucks cup, the reusable one. Mostly they're a source of BPA, BPS, BPB, and phthalates, which I always say wrong. Water bottles, baby bottles, plastic water bottles, like the Crystal Geyser, Arrowhead, Smart Water, those are all problematic. Storage containers, kitchen utensils, cutting boards. Every time you cut on a plastic cutting board, microplastics go into your food. So, I just really recommend removing them all. It's not something that you can do tomorrow. Like, don't just get rid of everything in your whole entire kitchen. That's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars probably. But like next time you think about, hey, I need a new cutting board, buy a wooden one or buy an Epicurean one. Next time you're like, oh, I'm ready to buy my next thing, get rid of a spatula. Next time you're at Target, buy a silicone spatula and some wooden utensils rather than a plastic one. So going into that, knowing like, hey, I'm trying to get rid of plastics. When you're out at a restaurant, try, if you're going to get like a cup of coffee or something like that, try not to get it hot because the lining in those paper cups is PFAS. So these are things that like no one tells you, and it's really not fair. We're actually, my friend and I are starting another podcast to tell you about these types of things because they truly are like so crazy and no one talks about it enough. So we really highly recommend getting rid of these things. I know I can speak for Emily Kostalik when I say she wants to. If you need another good resource for this, on Instagram, I think her name is Environmental Toxins World. Oh, Environmental Toxins Nerd, all the way spelled out. She is fantastic. Her name is Laura Alder. I have no connection with her either. I just think that she's really intelligent in this space and trust her recommendations a lot. So also really recommend looking into her. So all around, what we recommend is getting rid of the plastics, the fragrances, pesticides if you can, cleaning products that are problematic, your different laundry detergent, fragranced things, the dishwasher detergent, your dish soap like Dawn. I did that again, sorry. Use 7th generation, try and replace it. There are other options other than 7th generation. You just need to do your own research and look into that. Let me know what you think. In Vestibular Group Fit, we have an 1.5 hour long lecture on this. If you are in there and you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you do it. Coach Kelsey and I put our heads together and got in on this. It's great. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you watch that because it's going to be a way more in-depth dive. Look for the new podcast coming out. We haven't fully named it yet. So let me know if you're interested in that, if you're excited about that. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, DM me on Instagram at the Vertigo Doctor or at grounded.vestibular.pod. And I will see you next week. I love ya.